Welcome to PPR Podcast number 168. My name is Paul Rudy. To my right is the star of the podcast and co-host of the Prep Pigskin Report, besides all the other things he does, including being a former NFL star. His name is Grossman, Burt Grossman. Burt.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Why don't you introduce our guest?
Tom Abels, the head of the associate, is it San Diego referees or is it the whole Imperial everybody?
San Diego County Football Officials Association.
Okay.
And how many members does that entail, Tom?
Right now we're at about 220.
And what would you like that number to be at?
250, 260 maybe. We still need more officials.
Yeah, but that, I guess it's like the police force we're seeing. Slowly the recruitment's coming back a little bit. I mean, you're not that far off it's not like we can play every game on Friday, but we're getting closer, right?
We are getting closer.
And what does that look like? Because last year it seemed like there was a lot of Thursday, a lot of Saturdays. Is it going to be the same thing this year or less?
There should not be as many. I will meet with CIF in a couple of weeks. Once all the schedules get in, we'll see where all the games land, and we'll do as many on Friday as we can.
And we should mention, while referee shortages had a lot to do with it, there's also the venue shortage. Like there's some, not everybody, like for instance this year, Lincoln's home field is not playable, so it's forcing them to adapt their schedule, playing at Southwestern and then also moving a couple games to Saturday. Hopefully we're going to get them to move a third game to Saturday, but we'll talk about that later. But I mean, it wasn't all referees. There were some venue issues as well, right?
That's correct. And it's going to be that again this year. Castle Parks Field is they've started construction on that, so that'll be they're looking for a place to play. Lincoln's looking for a place to play, and
Got it.
Pardon?
No, I understand that, but the reason why we're talking to you is we want to get more men and women in striped shirts, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Make your recruiting pitch, if you will.
Football officiating, this is my 51st year. It is so much fun. You can't imagine how fun it is until you get into it. It's the camaraderie is great. It's every Friday night. Eventually, not for first-year officials, but eventually you're going to get on the field every Friday night with the same four guys, the same five-man crew every week. You get to meet new friends, make new friends, and it's work with some great people. It's just mostly it's a lot of fun. Now the flag last year, everybody that worked flags said they had a blast. So. And there's 30 more flag teams than there were last year.
Yeah, and that's not even counting the youth football during the youth season. And
youth football, first-year officials pretty much are going to be working every Saturday. We have both Pop Warner and American Youth Football here. They will work with an experienced official, at least one experienced official every week to help them develop into a good official.
So with a lot of youth football organizations, girls flag now, and all the high schools, and 220 officials. That seems like you're spread kind of thin, isn't it?
We are. The CIF came up with a playing day matrix for flags, so not everybody's trying to play on Monday like last year. So the flag games are spread out throughout the week. Pop Warner games are only on Saturdays. That helps. There are only a few high school games on Saturday. Christian, La Jolla, and now this year Vista, because their field's being torn up, and they're playing at RBV. So that'll be some games on Saturdays, but mostly Saturday is just Pop Warner and AYF.
So, but add it up. If you could officiate games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you could make some money at this, can't you?
You could. It would be if you worked a freshman game on Thursday, a doubleheader, a JV varsity doubleheader on Friday, and then two Pop Warner games. That would be, maybe $300 a week.
Hey,
That's not bad on the
that
side.
pays my cable bill. You know, when I first came to town, that would 4 weeks like that would pay my rent. Not anymore, but
Yeah.
but so there is some money to be involved here. Plus, you're working out. But I don't think those should be the reasons why you do this, because there's a more altruistic. It's your way of giving back to the youth, right?
Giving back to the youth, and we're there to keep the game safe, and keep the kids safe and keep the game fair, and just being around kids it's great. It's like I said, it's just a lot of fun. I've enjoyed, like I said, this is 51 years for me, and it's just a blast.
I used to be president with the Eastlake Panthers. It was AYF, now they're Pop Warner. And to that point, that was 10, 15 years ago. And we'd pay the refs, you know, they would do 2 or 3 games. They get about $150, something like that, depending. They did 4, 175. I still hear a lot of the youth complain, and that was so long ago, complaining that it's like tripled in the last 5 years maybe. What is that attributed to?
California?
Yeah, California.
It's California, and Pop Warner offers us a raise every year, and so now for one Pop Warner game on a Saturday is $70 for a new official. So if you work 2 or 3 of those on a Saturday, that's not bad. And yeah, they keep offering us money, so we'll take it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I think it's well earned and well worth it, because a good official makes the game go quickly, keeps the negativity of any one sporting event down. A good official's worth his weight in gold, in my opinion, Tom.
Correct.
If I'm 70, you said 75 per game for Pop Warner. What is it like a Friday night game?
Varsity game, the referee gets $142, and the other 4 officials get $140.
You get $2 rate.
You get $2 more to make the decisions. That seems like who decided $2 more was the proper rate increase?
It's always been that way. It was $2. It was $2. Hey, you got to make those decisions with that white hat on.
That's worth $2.
It's been that way for 50 years.
All right, Tom, take us out to the field. Your first night doing a varsity game. What was that like? Do you remember who the teams were?
Oh, I do. It was Castle Park at Chula Vista, and I was not good.
Why, you blow a call?
The referee took me behind the concession stand at halftime and chewed me out good. And by the end of my first season, I was much better. The last game of my first season was Marcus Allen's last regular season game at Lincoln. So that just shows you I've been doing this way too long.
All right, I got a question.
No, I want to find out what he got chewed out about. What were you getting chewed out over?
I threw too many flags. Apparently, I was working a position I'd never worked. I apparently was throwing too many flags. I didn't realize that because I was new and I didn't really know what I was doing at that position. And but we got better as the year went on. It was a fun crew. I learned a lot that year, and carried it on to when I became a crew chief and was able to teach new people stuff, maybe not as vociferously as my first crew chief, but.
Right. You have a unique perspective because you just brought that up. What's the best player you've seen play in San Diego, in your opinion? Football.
That I have personally seen play high school, probably Michael Wiley at Monte Vista. He was amazing. I never did see Reggie Bush. I never saw Junior Seau. Just luck of a signing. But Michael Wiley we watched him come up through Pop Warner, and then at Monte Vista, and then Ohio State, and then the Dallas Cowboys. He was just the best player I ever saw in person was it was a college game.
Well, what position did Wiley play?
Was he a running back?
He was a running back, yeah.
God, I have to look that up. I thought I knew this scene pretty well. I don't know the name Michael Wiley.
Really?
Yeah. Jeez, I feel like an idiot right now. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. So where did he play? He played at
Monte Vista.
Monte Vista?
Monte Vista.
And I got one other question.
Okay.
So, Tom, we started doing the Saturday games live
Right.
on PPR. Do referees, now do they like to be on TV, or would they rather just keep quiet and out of the view and not get critiqued?
I think they like it. It's I don't know that maybe there's more nerves being on TV and knowing, especially on Saturday, that every other official in the association is watching them. But overall, I think they like it.
My favorite part of those broadcasts now are having Joe Green as our official in New York.
Yeah.
In his outfit. I mean, he made the last broadcast because one, he had it. He knows the rule book. We don't. And
right.
His
No, wait. But there's obviously a fraternity, because you remember Bo had that weird throw forward, and Joe would not correct the call.
Okay, but that's all right. That's
There's a fraternity.
I would never publicly criticize you either.
You always do on when we do it.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No,
Remember the time I read my name wrong?
I would say that was my favorite part of the broadcast, and we hope Joe can. I don't know that this year, Tom, we're in the midst of a big studio renovation, and I don't know if technically we might have to take a year off from the doing live games. We're hoping to at least do one just to keep the string going, but we'll know more about that in the weeks ahead. But in the meantime, I want you to talk about I think I know the game pretty well, and I think I could learn the rule book, to a suitable level quickly. But I would still be terrified to decide. I would be terrified to make a mistake that changed the outcome of a game, and having to live with that. Can you speak to that a little bit?
It's hard to explain. You just get used to it. Actually, one call doesn't ever really affect the outcome of a game. You've had 60, 70 other plays to do the outcome. It's never bothered me. I came to football I was a baseball umpire before that, so I had already been used to making decisions, and it's hard to explain if you don't do it. It just, you see the play, you rule on it.
What's the biggest mistake that you've had to live with?
My one inadvertent whistle in 1977, and I never blew another one, because I had to go explain to Coach Gene Edwards at La Jolla that he didn't get to keep the ball, and he was not happy. And that cured me from ever blowing another inadvertent whistle in my career.
Speaking of that, because you said 1977, I mean, you've been around the game enough to see the changes. I mean, in 77, 80s, 90s, we'd have hit of the week. It's like roller derby. Mm-hmm. It's violent. People cheered that. Is it hard to adjust to make calls now? Because it seems like any clean hit, if it's a big hit, is a penalty now. Is that hard to make that distinction?
I think we're getting used to it. It was hard in the beginning to decide what was going to be illegal or not. We have a great instructional program, and our instructional chairman has, every meeting we talk about these calls. We look at video of them, and I think everybody's getting more comfortable with it.
And I'm sorry. And do you think as it goes on, is it going to get less contact? Because you've been, so you said 50 years. You know the evolution of it.
We go back to looking for snot bubbles, and that I think it's going to get softer and softer as we go along.
Until we're all flag.
So pretty soon we're playing flag, or do you think we're always going to have headgears and shoulder pads?
I think who knows. I think we'll probably always have headgear and shoulder pads, but it's just like you said, the game has changed, and I know it's for safety. And you think back to a couple of plays that I've seen over the years where I literally, when I went over to look at the injured player, I literally thought the kid was dead. He had just gotten nailed. And they both came back and they were fine.
And I think we watched, the Open. Lincoln and Granite was probably the most physical high school game I've
geez.
seen, and that's even going back to the '90s. So I think they did a great job with that, not stopping it, not ruining the great game it was. But that looked like a '90s game.
Yeah, it did. It was awesome.
All right, so which coach out there gave you the business the worst? Which coach did you want to take a club to? Who was the biggest chirper?
The biggest chirper, who was also happened to be probably my favorite coach, was Dick Haynes. I loved working Dick Haynes' sideline. He would keep you thinking, he would keep you honest, but he was basically a great guy. I loved working his games.
All right, who'd you hate the most?
None, really. I mean, in this county over the years, we're very fortunate to have great coaches that aren't really a problem. I've never really had a problem getting along with any of them.
All right, let's go to the guys that have been on our staff. Who is the biggest whiner out of Carroll, Shacklet, and Charles James?
Never worked for Charles James. I've been doing this assigning job for 18 years, and as part of my job, I don't work anymore on the field. But Coach Carroll he's an awesome coach, and he's a very nice man. I've had a chance to talk to him off the field. Same with Shaq. He's just I have no, like I said, I have no complaints about any of them.
I remember who's the one at Coach O at Chula Vista, Owens, Oregon.
George Onis, yeah.
He was a treat. I heard too on the sideline.
I did not have a problem with that.
So what's the funniest thing you've seen or heard in your course of your career? What's the story you tell when you're at a banquet?
Funniest thing, there have been so many of them. I don't know if I could pick it. In high school. The funniest stuff happens in Pop Warner.
Tell us.
Huh?
Tell us. Give us a story.
There was a program. The team was losing. It was like 49-0. We had a running clock. We were just trying to get out of there. And this little 8-year-old kid pulls his mouthpiece out, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Ref, I can belch the whole alphabet. You want to hear it?" And I said, "No, that's okay." And he actually got to H before he ran out of gas. Now, and how do you not laugh at that? It was awesome. That kid's probably now 30 years old.
That might have been Coach James. So do you still, I know you're retired and you just do the assignment now. So are you still a fan? Do you go out to games and watch on Friday night?
I go out every Friday night, depending on who's at home. I go to the first half of one game and go to the second half at another, just to watch the guys and offer any constructive criticism or praise that I may have. And I have my favorite places where I can go and basically hide in the bushes so they don't see me. We do have an observer program where guys go out and sit with the crew and they stand on the sideline and they rate them. But I always go out and basically stay absconded so nobody knows I'm there.
I just, I'll give you a chance here. Wax poetic about, Burt was an elite athlete. I was anything but elite. I think I was your run-of-the-mill kid who played high school football, limited number of times wearing shoulder pads and helmet. Burt was a professional. So I think Burt sees football as a business, and he had injuries that I can't even comprehend. I always thought high school football was just this life lesson experience that without it, I don't know that I would be sitting here with you guys. I want to give you a chance to wax poetic on high school football and what it means to you and what it means to society in general.
I'm one of those rare officials. I did not play football in high school. I swam, and I, like you, we won Western League all 3 years I was there, and certainly no thanks to me. But I was part of the team. It was all part of high school athletics. Football is if you've ever heard John Carroll do his football is the greatest sport ever invented, he gave that at our general meeting one year, and after the meeting, like 300 guys wanted to run through a wall for him. And it's just an awesome game that builds kids into greater adults. It's life. It's just awesome. It's just, like I said, it's just the greatest game ever invented.
Burt?
Well, I agree to that. Because I play two sports, and one's track, individual. You don't even talk to anybody. Football, you learn. I mean, it's race relations. It's you overcoming adversity. It's teamwork. It's every social class in one. You know, physical activity, going through it. Together, losing, winning, highs, lows, having to listen to your coach, having to respond to them. So I'd agree with that. The other sports you don't. Basketball, everybody wants to score points. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody gets anything.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, same thing. Football's just unique that way.
The simplest life lesson of all is getting up after you get knocked down. Mm-hmm. No one gets through an NFL career without getting knocked down more than not, and lots of times when I was getting steamrolled by Madison West on homecoming night back in '78, Tim Straka, I can remember him drooling on top of me and thinking, oh man, I don't want to do this anymore. But somehow you do, your guys around you don't, and I feel better for it, because now when I deal with him and in the adversity, I know I'm not going to quit.
And it's the only time you do it for free, because you don't. Once you get pro, you're like, oh, I wouldn't do this if you don't give me this money. But
well, all right. So
one more question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right, Tom. I give this to everybody. Who wins the Open Division at all this season? Who's going to win it all?
Who knows?
You can't answer. Who knows?
What's open? It's impossible. How would you answer that?
I'd say Lincoln.
Okay. I'd say look out for Cathedral.
Yeah, and
They're an
Granite.
all-star team for Pete's sake.
And Granite. There's a few of them up there I would do, but I'm going to go early with mine.
All right, Tom. We're going to wrap this up, but I just tell people how they can join your group of merry men and women.
We would love to have you join. Again, males, females, doesn't matter. Or you can go on our website, sdcfoa.org, pay online, and an instructional packet will be available for you at our first meeting. Or you can show up at our first meeting on July 10th at 7 o'clock in the theater at Mira Mesa High School. You can sign up then, pay your dues, and come join us. If you're intimidated about being somebody who has never officiated before, all of the first-year officials are in a classroom together. Everybody in the classroom has never officiated football before. Some have officiated other sports, but none of the people in the classroom have ever officiated football. We have 3 instructors in the classroom that have about 100 years experience. And we're going to make you a football official. I guarantee that.
And on that note, we are going to call it a conversation. Tom, thank you so much for. Oh, hey, can you do me a favor? Do you have lots of pictures of yourself in officiating gear and group pictures of officials that you've officiated with over the years?
Yes.
I need them. Can you email them to me? To prudy@kusi.com. prudy@kusi.com.
I'll text it to him.
And please, as many as you can, as quickly as you can, because I'm going to start working on this in about 90 minutes. And Tom, if you have pictures of your classes when you're talking about teaching officials how to become officials, if you have anything from those classes, I would appreciate those pictures as well.
You're not going to ask for his Instagram?
I never thought about taking pictures of the class. We do have a group picture from our banquet last year of the class.
Send me that. And Tom, my advice to you, if you want to recruit, is reach out to Brandon Stone, have a camera at those sessions, and that tape alone will help you get more recruits as people see how much fun it is and see people smiling. It's worth paying the money, even if it costs you money to have someone professionally shoot that, because that will you get that up on a website. We'll put it up on a PPR. That will help you recruit. People have to see it and touch it.
Yeah.
That would be my advice to you. And I don't mean to be so uppity to think that I can teach you anything, but that's one thing I would suggest. All right, Tom, PPR Podcast 168 is over. You're going to send me as many pictures as you can, right?
I will.
And Podcast 168 is over. Everybody, turn off your machines.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Thank you.